Let's Hunt is a video series with tactics, weapons, locations, and other useful tips, always around one particular animal. Hello again, it's time for another Let's Hunt. This time we go after Roe Deer, and we will do this in 3 reserves. I'm going to start my Hemmeldal hunt down here at this tent. You might have seen this already when you have seen the reindeer episode. So this is a good place for Roe Deer. You will find other animals here as well. Not so much foxes, they are more on the eastern side. The initial plan is to go up here, but you never know what you will find. Let the animal take you where it takes you. So let the animal make your plans much more than what you have in mind. So let's see what we find, and let's see how we can stick to our plan or maybe go somewhere else. Okay, let's get going. My starting time is 8 o'clock. I bring a rifle just in case if I need to do a longer shot, maybe on a bear or something, or a nice Roe Deer buck. But otherwise I want a bow hunt today, and the reason is mostly because this is a very packed area. Sometimes when I hunt here, I shoot one animal, I hear a bunch of others run away, and especially with the Roe Deer, you hear them run. They have a quacking sound when they run away, when they flee, and sometimes there's so much quacking going on. It's a very dense area. We have a little snowfall here, but that doesn't really make a difference. So starting here, you can find reindeer. There it is. And actually there is a competition going on for reindeer shot from a tree stand. And for that reason I was just going to say I bring a tree stand. So I'm mounting the tree stand. I will take out this reindeer if I find the collar. Here it is. The so-called rattle collar. If you're interested in reindeer, I have a video showing what is specific about those, where they start, how you can catch up with them, how you can fast travel and take over a herd that is going straight ahead, passing that herd with fast traveling, stuff like that. It's in a reindeer video if you're interested. So, but here I want to take this one out simply because it's right there, but then continue with the Roe Deer. As I said, this is a very packed area, and I want to use the bow, the silent python bow, so I can take out Roe Deer without spooking many others. There it is. Very nice core estimation, going up to the maximum of 730. So it looks like we can start the Roe Deer hunt with a decent reindeer. Actually, I want to go up in the tree stand right now. Plus, I want to use scent eliminator. If you look at the snowflakes where they go, they fly north pretty much. So that's where the wind goes. Right now I'm upwind of the reindeer. That is really important in this game, to pay attention to the wind. If you are in the wind, your scent is being carried over to the animal. They will scent you, they will smell you. Sometimes you can visibly see the animals stick the nose in the air, taste the air, and pretty much smell you and then run away. So I'm going to use scent eliminator, and then I will be fine up here in the tree stand certainly as well. That adds additional protection. And there comes the reindeer bull. He comes pretty fast actually. Maybe rattle once more, although I don't think it's necessary. And he appears to be alone. That is not very often. Usually they're part of a herd with up to 6 females. So it's about time to shoot it. .569 is a nice core. Oh, and I happen to lead the competition. It's really nice reindeer. There we go. So now, after Roe Deer, there is moose in this area. There is brown bear, certainly brown bear are all over the western wing here, the western wing of Hemmeldal. But they don't call. You just run into them. You run into bears quite often. You see fleeing tracks. When you sneak around, you might hear them walking around. But it's a very shy animal. So I want to walk a little circle here going south, then turn over going east and then up. We'll see how far we get. I just looked up. Roe Deer was introduced to the game pretty much 3 years ago in April or May of 2012. And it was introduced along with wild boar to the Hirschfelden map. But in Hirschfelden, the Roe Deers travel as single animals. There's a buck, very nice. Roe Deer travel as single animals in Hirschfelden, but very often they travel or roam as groups in Hemmeldal. This is important to know. I'm pretty sure when I call this buck now, there might be even either additional bucks or there can be females. Oftentimes you see one buck, two females, two does. That's a very usual picture here. So where's a good place to set up an ambush here? I think I'm going to lure it here. And then wait up here behind the rocks. It's got a decent eyesight, so you want to stay away enough so it doesn't spot you. And again, there could be two bucks running in. So what I'm going to do is I will wait for it to arrive. I will let it stick around and see if there's any additional bucks coming before I decide to shoot it. Oftentimes when you find tracks, you will find also there's two females, one male traveling in the same direction with the same age on the same estimation of how old the tracks are. That's part of your skill system. If you level up your skill system for tracking, at some point the tracks will tell you how old they are, and many times you will find three animals traveling together. And I've posted pictures in the forum with 4 bucks in the very same place. I applied scent spray, and in they came with there was probably 2 groups of 2 bucks. I don't know how they were roaming around, but just in general to be aware of that. When you call Roe Deer, just be aware that there can be multiples coming. And also they don't run straight to the call. So the buck might actually run by me here. I have to be careful. If he comes too close here, then I would have to shoot it right away. There it is. Very low score. If I don't hear another one, actually, I'll take this one out. Hopefully it'll drop on the spot. It's down now, but that spooking was already enough to spook others if there were any. But this one was alone, luckily. So the first buck is down. 10 minutes after the start, we have a reindeer bull and a Roe Deer buck. A large bull and a tiny buck. I did get both lungs. Interesting. It still ran, but anyway, there's our first buck. I never paid much attention to the antlers, to the color of that. And then the other day I realized the darker the antlers, the more color points you get. There is an additional beauty score for the color of the antlers. 0 is the least, and 4 is the best, and the darker the antlers, the better. Still in roaming mode, in crouching mode, I should say. But it looks like this one was alone. Small bear. Very close, going south. 20 minutes away. The brown bear is very fast roaming. So it'll be probably even out of sight, out of reach. When they introduced the Roe Deer, the quacking was a lot more. So hunting here on the western side of Hemmeldal without the fox and the reindeer back then, there were so many Roe Deer, and when you shot your gun, there was the quacking all over the place. It was like a pond of ducks. A lot of quacking, and people complained that was just way too much quacking. So they reduced it quite a bit, but they still do this nervous call. And it's actually an advantage, even though the hunter mate cannot pick up that call. It's still good when you spook a Roe Deer and then you don't quite know where it is. During the phase where the Roe Deer calms down, it still quacks sometimes, and that allows you to locate it. Even though the hunter mate doesn't tell you where it is, you can still tell it's roughly over there behind the hill. Another buck calling. Very nice. I would like to use the tree stand and the scent spray at some point. And I wonder if this is a good point in time. The tree stand has a spook radius of 100 meters. The Roe Deer is certainly further away. But I don't see... Maybe over here. Yeah, this'll work. So I'm guessing the Roe Deer is maybe 150 meters away. Yeah, this might work. And the distance of 150 meters actually matters because the collar reaches to the edge of the hunter mate. And I will call now, and I will reach the Roe Deer. The scent spray, however, only reaches 150 meters. That's a good bow distance. And because the scent spray only reaches this far, I'm using the collar to bring the roe within reach. And here is a new bear, medium size. So I am applying the scent, but also I call to make sure the roe is going to come within the reach of the scent. Otherwise, you're wasting your scent. You're wondering where is that animal. It's simply out of the reach if that happens. If you're new to the game, I'm using the Parker Python bow. See, there is a female over there actually. That's not the same group, but there's now gonna come a female as well, at least one. But I was going to say, I'm using the Parker Python, and it used to be a weak bow. I hated it. I told everyone in the forum and everywhere else, it's a weak bow, it's not worth it. But then there was a performance upgrade. They changed the way they measure penetration and woundage of the weapons, and you can clearly see a big difference now to the Parker Python bow. It's very strong now for short distances, a lot stronger than before. Plus, they added the rangefinder bow sight. So this sight here, this electronic little device here, when I aim at something, it's telling me there's the yellow pin, which gives me the reference. So this tree, the foot of this tree over there is 19 meters away, and I can easily aim with that. It's very easy. I have the 5 dots going from 20 to 60 meters, going from top to bottom. Very easy to shoot, very reliable, especially for small games such as Roe Deer. So it's a perfect weapon. It's the most silent bow anyway. And if you're in a dense area such as this, if you can use a bow, even if you have the snake bite or the recurve, still way better than any gun. Every time you fire a gun, and if you look at the hunter mate, this whole map, the whole mini-map on the hunter mate will be empty. Every time you fire a gun, it's empty. Everything's gone. And that's just, you put a lot of work in tracking and roaming around only to spook everything, chase everything away yourself. So if you can use a bow, start bow hunting. It's really a lot of fun. We have the female calling, but I'm expecting the male to trot in actually. The females take a heck of a long time to get here. So that calling female, it'll take at least 5 more minutes to get here. And I mean real minutes. So I would like to see the buck show up here. Plus, we might have other roe deer. There's always only one animal calling within a certain time frame. So we have at least one buck and one doe in the area, but there might be others. The buck's not coming, really. Most of the time they trot, sometimes they walk. And like with any other animal in the game, they can ignore a lure. It's not 100% that they come to the lure, so they can ignore it. And usually that's the higher scoring animals that do that. So I'd be interested why he's not coming. Oh well. We'll have a look at the females then. But after these, I will certainly go and check out the buck. There's a brown bear. 220 to 270. If I remember correctly, that's the dropping that we picked up there was the same weight. By the way, the bears wouldn't chase away the roe deer. So if our roe doe is walking over here, whether that bear is there or not doesn't make a difference at all. It'll just walk right through it. So we should even see her now. And the bear is not going to make a difference. Hopefully it's going to walk over here. I have shot roe deer standing next to each other from 30 meters away with the Parker. If they drop on the spot, you will be undetected actually. There's another bear, and there's our buck coming. And there's a female coming as well. That's quite a zoo going here. And there's another buck coming. Yeah, but they're both small. 55 to 105, and this one is 56 to 115. And there's another 3 bucks coming to my call. This is certainly a good place, but and like I said, you have to be careful. Look at these guys, they're just crazy. They're just walking over here. So I can spook them all with one bad shot. Or I might get multiples. Let's see if the bear is still around. Alrighty then. Isn't that great? But it's 3 babies in addition to the baby I've shot already. Well, there's no age. They're all the same age. But they're so tiny. First buck is out. As you can see, the barking means it's nervous. Any second shot will spook it now, unless I let it calm down a little. There you go. Now you can hear the barking. And the female back there is barking as well. But that's excellent to demonstrate how they get nervous, how they start barking after the first shot, and the second shot is too much. You would have to wait a minute or two. All right. And of course, taking down the tree stand, spooking everything again at 100 meters does the rest. Look what the arrow did. It went through the whole neck all the way back to the intestines. And here's the next one. All organs destroyed. So the Parker is a lot better than it used to be. If you still have that bow in mind as being weak, hopefully this will demonstrate for small games such as Roe Deer. It's fine. And while we are running some ads for videos, I have another video, it's called Python Voyage, and it shows how I shoot all the animals in the game with the Parker, how I instantly drop them all. It's really a great bow, and I even shoot a brown bear at, I believe it was like 40 meters. It just drops like a sack of rice. So I have spooked animals to the south, which means I will now walk north. You can spend hours here, I can tell you. If you're a patient, silent hunter with the bow, with the stands, just walk around here. Look at that, there's another roe deer. Here is another roe deer calling up north. So we have a track here, and we have one in the north. We have another buck here that I could follow. I will follow usually bucks that say 30 to 35 kilograms. My tracking level is 20, and the best estimation, or the estimation for the highest bucks, the heaviest bucks I should say, is 30 to 35. Now with all the deer, high weight does not guarantee high score. However, it's always an indication that you might get a big one. If you look at the leaderboards, usually the best animals are quite heavy. And I actually happened to have shot the leaderboard leader for Roe Deer a few months ago in this very area. I can show you on the map where I shot it. It was actually here. Here's where I shot this Roe Deer buck. And it was 32 kilograms or something like that. So high weight is a good indication for a possibly high score. And I will call this buck over. I would like to show you one last thing here in Hemmeldal. No, I'll use the caller. I would like to show you one more thing, which is you can move towards the roe deer, and you can get up and shoot it while it's still trotting. I mentioned before they have good eyesight. They will detect you when you move around. But even with the bow, you still have enough time. When you get up and shoot it immediately, you can do that. So I will try and do this. Maybe I miserably fail. Maybe it works. That would be for the opposite of what I mentioned before. If you're a patient hunter, you can spend a lot of time here. If you're impatient like I am, you can move towards the animal here. When it comes, get up and shoot it, and it'll work. I shot it too low. The color of the blood is an indication for where I hit it. Bright blood means lungs, heart, and when it's running, it was a long shot. So this was the last buck here for Hemmeldal. Let's make the account here quickly. We've shot 1, 2, 3. We have found tracks. We have seen another 2 down there by the tree stand. And I'm just talking about bucks. We've seen tracks of another 2 just 3 minutes ago. We've shot this one. A lot of bucks, a lot of roe deer in this area. It's a beautiful corner also. This mountain is over there at Valde-des-Bois, or at least in the area of that reserve. It's a beautiful area here. And I'm going to pick up my last roe deer and then move to the next area. There you go. There goes another roe deer. And this one is even tinier than the rest so far. Whatever. Alrighty. So this is Hemmeldal. Let's move on. For roe deer at Hirschfelden, I start here at my tent in the very north of the map. This is my tent here in the north of Hirschfelden. There's open fields on the eastern side. There's woods, forests on the western side, and there's roe deer everywhere, among other animals such as wild boar or pheasants. Some few foxes come up here, very few red deer, So let's go see. And the hunt starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. We've got some rain, but that might go away soon. So usually the first call here will be from a pheasant or roe deer. Really lots of them here. It's not easy to hunt them here in these dense woods. But it's a good challenge. First call is from a landed goose. That can happen as well. On the entire reserve, of course. It's almost impossible to sneak up to them unless they sleep. So of course I want to get them up in the air. And I have some thunderstorm outside my window here at home. That just fits nicely into this weather here. Hopefully it's gonna be on the video. Alright, so there's always pheasants here around this tower. There's also a lot of wild boar here. Soon the tracks will start. The wild boars travel in groups, so there will be always a lot of tracks there. The pheasants too, but not the roe deer. As opposed to Hemmeldal, on this map they will always start as single animals, travel around on their own. And there they go. I can hear one quacking. Maybe spooked by the pheasant. So here's a track. Relatively recent. The roe deer can spawn in the same area. I think that's to facilitate the spawning mechanism. Many times you can see a bunch of animals spawning in the same place. That's when you start a hunt, and then you find a lot of tracks older than 1 hour. Then you can know they spawned there, but then they moved apart. And we have a call from a male back there. Luckily it was not spooked by the goose that took off there. I had a fleeing track from a goose right in that direction, but the difference is the geese will get up and then get away from you. They turn in the air, but not the pheasants. There's one right here. And I have to aim really low. The pheasants, when you spook them, they go straight. Even if you face them, you can call them, they will fly straight to you. Unless there's an obstacle. But the geese and the ducks, they turn in the air, very nicely done. But then also there's 3 or 4 years of development in between. So we can expect some improvements with the animals over time. I'm going to first use the scent eliminator. and then use the spray. And that should be it. The buck should be close enough. I will just use the spray, no collar. Because that just works just as well. Except the difference with the reach. And since the tower is right here, we'll sit up here and wait. So a few pheasants got away. One decided to stay. And that was a bad decision. So the buck is gonna come in here hopefully soon. There it is. Male pheasant over here. Okay. So I've used the scent spray, and maybe there's more of them coming, not just one. Small buck scoring around 100. Very carefully coming in. I think the Roe Deer and the red fox have a very similar approach for coming to calls. It's a mixture between walking and trotting. And as you can see, all I did was applying the scent. And there it is. "20 meters away, a bit less. Bright blood means long shot. I'm just listening and want to know if there's any other Roe Deer maybe coming in. There's another pheasant hen. So my hope is that we'll hear a call. The Roe Deer buck is down. The pheasant has spooked. Of course, that was all tactics. I wanted to spook the pheasant. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't drop it on the spot. How far is that away? I'm standing here. It's very hard to aim with any weapon standing up. But if you shoot a weapon a lot, you will of course level it up, and the higher your shooting level, the steadier you can hold the weapon. Really important. Here you go, the pheasants. So there's our first little buck. Penetrated both lungs. That used to be an instant kill. Double lung shot used to be an instant kill. Something changed at some point. I don't know. Now they run for a few meters. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm now spooking some roe deer. So if you hear some quacking soon, the scent spray is still active. It lasts for 12 minutes. Maybe it's just about to expire. But still, it might have attracted the roe deer to come some way towards me. There's more pheasants there in the woods. I can hear the wings flapping. So I will look for roe deer, roe buck tracks that I can follow. There's a bunch of them together here, which could mean either wild boar or more roe deer. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. 25 to 30. So you can see they spawned here an hour ago. Was the track late? Female calling over there. This is a perfect piece of for training. If you're a patient hunter, if you like to crouch walk, there's many animals. And with the silent weapon such as this Parker Python, you can take down a lot of them. Just want to check out these tracks here, knowing that I'm walking straight towards the female over there. This is a recent track, 16 minutes away. There it's quacking. Maybe this, maybe another. So it's good to know where the areas are with a lot of animals. But at the same time, it's giving you a good challenge to stay silent among all those. More quacking going on. I don't know why. I'm still crouching. The good thing about the rain is animals will stick out a lot more. It's like they start glowing compared to when it's a dry day. but the sound is a bit annoying. I've actually turned down the volume at the beginning of the hunt when I realized it was going to rain. I would love to mount a tree stand now. But I might just do more damage here. With the noise. So I'm going to look for a good place to call it. I don't want to go any closer. This caller is so weak sometimes. Listen. Oh, there it is. There is at least one. Might be the female that's behind us from before. The caller is so weak, sometimes I use it a couple of times. It doesn't make a difference, but it just feels better. It feels like I'm finally calling that row. So hopefully it's gonna come in soon. But we have to be aware of the female behind us. And there he is. Wow, nice. There's another one too. But this one was nice. A score estimation above 200 for the upper range. It's still going to be closer to the lower value, which was 160. So, as said before, many times you get a bunch of them coming to the call. So this is a new track. I was lucky there was a better one coming in than the one I was following. And I've hit the lungs. And I've spooked the Roe Deer, of course, behind me as well. The female, which I'm not too sad about. And here's our second buck after about 20 minutes. And we can hear its friend in the distance. So maybe I should go after it actually. A good exercise to track down spooked Roe Deer. Oh, there's a lot of them. This is a nice wood for Roe Deer, I can tell you. All the quacking. And I keep saying that for this, as any other animal, if you don't like the quacking, if you don't like the sound of it, if you don't like the animal at all, for any reason, then go and hunt it, and then you will change your mind, you will start liking it. It was the same with the turkeys, it was the same with the roe deer. First the quacking goes on your nerves, and then you decide to hunt them, and you start appreciating the quacking because it tells you where it is. New track, yeah, that's a female, pretty close. That could have been the second voice to the quacking choir. So let's go pick up our box track over here. What have we got here? And there is a pheasant. By the way, you can see the leaves falling here. Straight ahead. They're falling and the wind takes them to the north. This is how the wind goes. You don't need, look in the air, see where they go, the leaves. You don't need a wind indicator. If you utilize those signs, it's the snowflakes in Hemmeldal, it's the leaves here in Hirschfelden. So there's a river here in front of us. Maybe the Roe Deer will get stuck or stopped. Sometimes they turn around. Depending on the situation, it can be more difficult or easier. There is another call from a Roe Deer. And now I would like to see our next track here. It's a female very close. She's over here. Here's our fleeing buck. We'll catch up with it later. I will slowly move towards this female. But there has been a lot of animals spooked, so let's be careful here. Very nice area. I like it. I like this fall setting. I like the crows or whatever birds those are. There's a rock here that I can utilize to crouch closer. Sometimes it's actually good if you distract yourself for a while before you go after your prey, because it's good if they calm down. They might even start calling again, so they're easier to find again. It's not always best to go right after them because you keep spooking them. I think it's very nicely done when you can hear the animals come closer and closer. The way you start hearing the footsteps, they get louder as they get closer. It really helps. So I'm spending some time here with this doe, but keeping in mind that I have a buck I want to go after, and I want to let it calm down. They should take their time. Now I can hear footsteps. Lots and lots of roe deer. There she is. And now you can see the rain coming. The roe deer starts glowing. I tell you, you can see them better. Look at the feet. So what's the distance here? Perfect for the top pin. So that's what I would expect for a 20-meter shot. So I'm gonna go back, look for the track of my buck. Sometimes I even run after them intentionally. I was just going to say I just walk to drive them out of the woods. I've been after wild boar here for hours, literally, until I decided let's just run after it, let's just drive it out of these freaking woods so I can finally see it out in the open. And I might have just done the same with the buck deer. That pheasant has called a lot now. There's a river coming up. And these rivers can only be passed every now and then, every 50 to 100 meters. So if the buck was right here. He came back from the river, went up there and was spooked. So when you call an animal that's on the opposite side of the river, you have to pay attention to those passages because it will run to one of those. It'll not just run straight to you until it stands in front of the river. It'll run right to one of these passages. So it could come to you from left or right, depending on where it crossed the river. So that last cone there is completely misleading. That's why I looked up here. I thought it had probably still ran up here. And it did. The higher tracking level, the further away you can see the next dome. And it's not a big difference. It's only from the lowest to the highest level. There it is. From the lowest to the highest level, it's not so much. It's only 5 meters or so, but it makes a big difference. So that was the quacking I was talking about. Now I know where it is. Spotting info means Roe Deer buck. There it is. Medium-sized buck. There between the woods. It turned around if it's the one that I was after. Between the trees there. So this is going to be our last buck, and thus I'll use the rifle. I don't care what's after me here. I'll take this roebuck out with the rifle. And I think I was able to show you a good place for roe deer in Hirschfelden. There is lots of them here. Oh, it sees me. All right. There we go. Another buck. This was Hirschfelden, Val-des-Bois we come. You will certainly recognize this lodge, you will recognize the setting. This is the mountains of Val-des-Bois. I'm starting here at the northern lodge, and I will go north. Up here we have rabbits and brown bears, but most certainly we have roe deer. And since the first two species don't call, the roe deer will. Unless there is an ibex up there throwing rocks down the mountains and being the first one to make sound. It'll be roe deer calling here. They travel together here as well. Oftentimes up here I will find tracks of 2 or 3 of them right away. But then sometimes the rabbits make fun of me and spook all the roe before they go hide. There we go. Over by that path up the hill. I have a tree stand mounted. You can see it on the Hunter Mate. I didn't bring one here. In Hirschfelden I made use of the tower there. Here I will either use the tree stand that is there, or just make use of the terrain. So the easiest here is to call it and then move up the hill, so we can look down on it. It's moving over to me. There you go. There's a few of them. Like said, there is 2 females and 1 buck, if I see that correctly. But I was wrong actually in Hirschfelden. A tiny buck running away from me. I thought it was a female. So here I will just call them in and see what's coming. I know there's a buck for sure. Very nice to see them here as a group traveling. And I want to be careful. The buck will come trotting fairly quickly. this already. Most bucks in the game will be small to medium score. This one is even below 100. So in order to find a trophy buck, you need to find many of them. But you should know a few places by now. So this appears to be the only buck. And the does are just slowly walking over here. Rather large female, 30 to 35. Oh wow, so there's 3 females. Yeah, there's 2 there and 1 here. Oh, there's more. Oh, just went away. 4 females. Every now and then I just have to go at them with the rifle here. So many of them. Got at least 2. So there were 5 Roe Deer right here at the start. I'm crouching right now because I think I can get 1 or 2 more. There is it, quacking nervously. Actually, I want to see her weight, so let's go for it. So the other doe is now definitely gone. But this one I wanted to see. $32.1 kilograms. So I mentioned before the maximum was 32, which cannot be right then, it must be 33. So very heavy Roe Deer doe. And there goes the next. It's again a female. Or it's another group. Bear running away. Small one. One quacking usually is a nervous Roe Deer. So let's not force it, let's just go slowly. Eventually the Roe Deer is gonna show up. And we can look at the beautiful plants. Footsteps very close. Get ready. Yeah, there she is. And you can tell by all the quacking, there's no lack of Roe Deer here. What's nice here is if you walk around the river, you can see them from far. Oftentimes they cross the river, of course, and you can see them there as well. So there's a lot of tracks here. Could be a rabbit burrow. Down there is my Roe Deer. But it is Roe Deer, it's not a burrow. Not a rabbit track. 20 to 30. And the new buck. Ooh, right here. Very nice. Lots going on here. If you like Roe Deer, this is also a good place to go. Hopefully you will agree by now that all the places I've shown in this video are good. But this is really full. And maybe you will start liking Roe Deer after this video. It's really fun. Nervous. Yeah, there's much going on here. Alrighty, there it is. Nice antlers. And yet the score is rather medium. And down it goes. So it's 9:39. 40 minutes in the game is 20 minutes real time. And we're picking up roebuck. number 1 and Roe Deer number 5 in total. I hope I was able to introduce you a little bit into hunting the smallest of the deer species. The focus was clearly on the hotspots of each reserve. Of course, we could have continued each of these hunts, but I will leave this part up to you now. Go out there and hunt Roe Deer. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed, never got annoyed. Thank you very much. Stay in touch.